Hi, I'm Shelby Thompson, and this is my Module 13 Tort Liability assignment. First of all, we have the definition of tort. I copy and pasted this right out of our textbook, and it's an actional or civil wrong committed against one person by another that is independent of contract. So basically, the way that I see that is it's a wrongful act of someone under contract. And how that fits into education is that there's a contract between unwritten of parents sending their students to school and school being a safe place. And when those wrongful acts happen where a child is unsafe due to somebody who is in the school, that is a reason for tort liability. Okay, so now we have the court cases. The first one was Frame and Comeau in 1999. The sub grabbed a student after being disruptive, and they were taking a spelling test. The student fell once the sub had grabbed them, and they sued for battery charges because of unwanted touch. The court ruled in favor of the sub, saying actions were necessary to maintain classroom control, and also the student had almost chested up to him. So in regards to his personal safety, that was what had happened. So reactive measures that I think would happen in my school would that there'd be a discussion with the sub. I think sometimes with substitutes there's a disconnect because they're not in the schools every day, and that's kind of why I put that meme over there or comic on the side, because I think substitutes do have it a little bit harder because they don't have that built-in relationship with those students. So I feel like maybe there would be a discussion with the sub about what can we do differently the next time, or you should have called one of us first from the administration or something like that. Proactive measures, discussing discipline plans with substitutes at the schools so they know what's going on, maybe give them a little pre-learning about what's expected of them and how they handle those kinds of situations. Professional ethics, I think, would be patience. There needs to be patience when dealing with disruptive students and things like that. Patience from the administration in dealing with the substitute not knowing what to do. And I think patience solves some of those miscommunication errors and helps that sub learn as well. Next was Flanagan versus Canton. Flanagan was pushed in the locker room after class when this teacher was dealing with another behavior issue. They ruled in favor of the student because the teacher was deemed negligent due to the fact that he owed greater duty to suspension based on that day, is what they quoted on the court case. So reactive measure in my school would be the discussion with the teacher. In our school, we have a policy where there needs to be an adult in with students at all times. So whether that's teachers out in the hallway, paras in the rooms when, say, a teacher needs to go to the bathroom. Well, if a para is in the room, then that's okay, as long as there's some adult in the room with the students at all times. So a proactive measure is that having adults with students at all times, just to have that proximity to where those incidences don't happen, and also they have an adult account as well. Professional ethics, I put intuition. If by knowing what's going to happen or kind of getting a feel of, okay, I need to stay with all of these kids and then have this group discussion later. I feel like the intuition would have greatly helped that teacher to not have this situation happen. Next was Rogers versus Akron City School System. The teacher grabbed and choked a student in the lunch line, and the teacher had admitted to poor judgment, thinking that if it wasn't malicious intent afterwards and had recognized that she had made a mistake, that it would kind of negate what had happened. But the courts ended up saying that she needed to be held accountable for her actions, just like so they ruled it a unintentional tort, because at the end the intentions were not what she had wanted. So reactive measures would be having a discussion with everybody between principals, teachers, parents. We actually had a case, something kind of similar to this year in our school. We had a bus driver who actually grabbed a student, and the parents were upset. So they had a whole meeting with the parents, the superintendent, the bus driver, and the transportation director. She was also there as well. So they just had a discussion. And then the parents ended up actually like taking their kids and moving them to a different district based on that, which is unfortunate. But 2 of their children actually stayed. Just they only moved part of their family to a different school. Proactive measures, I would say, would be giving teachers some self-help and some stress management. Being a teacher is a stressful job, and not saying that I've ever done that. Like I've always stopped at that point because I have great, awesome coworkers who I can go vent to, or say, "Hey, can you take my room? I'm about ready to blow my top." And I also have those great relationships with my kids, and they can see that the frustration is growing. And hey, we better not make Miss Thompson any more mad, or she's going to blow her top off. But also just getting teachers self-help and like having them have a place to vent to where that doesn't happen and they're not reacting to the kids. So that leads into professional ethics of stress management. Teachers and administration need to be able to help each other manage stress so we don't have those situations. Okay, next is Gordon versus Oak Park. The Gordon children claimed to be abused at school, hit, yelled at. It mentioned in the court case corporal punishment, and they said that it was allowed if the behavior was warranted. The children actually admitted to the misbehavior, and then the court ordered in favor of Oak Park. I kind of put this meme down here. I thought it was kind of funny and pertained to this about there was multiple disruptions and behavior that had happened. And I think given the fact that this case was in 1974, I feel like there was a lot more control and corporal punishment measures probably put into place in schools, such as spanking and things like that. But in today's society, I think you would need to have more of a discussion with teachers and parents as a reactive situation. If multiple students in a family are continually getting into trouble or things like that, I feel like there would probably need to be a discussion with parents, teachers as well. Are we targeting these students based on their family? Is their family going through something like that? That's what I would say as a reactive measure. Proactive, I would say that you need to document all of these things that are happening, so that way when you do have a student say, "Hey, this happened at school today," then a parent can be like, "Okay, what happened?" And there's documentation there for to kind of save the teachers behind in a way. And then the last ethic I put was compassion. I think if teachers and administration are more compassionate to the given situation of what's going on for families, then it's going to better help out that situation for everyone. Okay. Jackson versus Cartwright. Mrs. Jackson fell on a ramp at a Little League game that was using the school's facilities. The school ended up not held accountable since it was not their event. The Jackson family had wanted to pursue negligent charges because they had complained about it before, but they had only complained about it to the Little League people, not the school. And the school had a large upkeep to take care of as well. So my reactive measures would be creating new policies for the use of facilities. Okay, people who are using the facilities, they need to make sure that they're in good shape and that people need to be able to use them. I know for us in our school, we have to do slip, trips, and falls every year. We have to watch a video about it. Why not make people who have to use the facilities or in charge of the facilities do that as well? Proactive measures, relations with Little League or people who are using the facilities. I think that building those relationships, and if that Little League person could have told somebody who was in charge of the facilities, then it would have negated that problem. And then that leads to the professional ethic of communication. A good professional can communicate and knows problems before they happen. Okay, so that's my project. Thank you. Oh, and I also use Slides Carnival and Unsplash. I like to use them, and they're really easy to use. Thanks again.